Yeah, the Yellow Deli. That's what I wanted to talk about. Different conflicting opinions on it. I understand people call it a cult or a crazy religious group or whatever, but obviously they might have some ulterior motives. Oh, good morning. I am road walking back to the trail from the farm stand, filled up on sourdough bread and chocolate milk, although I drank and ate that in the reverse order. Chocolate milk first, sourdough. And it was delicious, and it was an excellent stop on a beautiful day. And probably only have 2/10 of a mile, if that, to the trail. And then it's 7.5 miles to the top of Killington Peak. Starts off really gradual and then increases in steepness, but it's not something that looks incredibly steep, so should be able to bang that out. And then it's actually kind of a nice downhill into the road that goes to Rutland, where there's either a bus or I could try to hitch. The bus comes every hour from what I understand, and I just got to make sure I'm on the right side of the road to get that bus in. Or I could just try to hitch and see if I get a ride. But good mood still. Spirits are still high. I said last night I'm ready to finish, and I am. But I'm not as, I don't know if desperate's the right word. I want to soak it in, take every day in. And I'm okay with 5 more weeks out here, whatever it is. I think it was just that Connecticut blues, and the finish was still so far away. So taking in every day, enjoying it as much as I can. And then the whites are around the corner, because after Rutland, Hanover is just a few days, and then the whites are only a few days after that. So started last night to look at the logistics. Didn't get that far, really just looked at the towns and the hostels that are in between and before, and resupply options, but you know, a loose look over of that. So that is where I'm at. I'm almost back to the trail. What a beautiful day. It's that early fall weather, even though it's not fall, where it's kind of summer-like during the day and fall-like in the morning and evening. So it is great. All right, I've said enough. I am going to start hiking towards the top of Killington and then into Rutland. That's about it. I came so close to walking right by this. Saw it at the last second. That's crazy. Oh yeah. Getting there. More rocks and roots and just uneventful woods. Oh yes, it is much later. 4 something, almost 5. Heading towards Route 4, I believe, for Rutland, and I'm beat up. I did do the side trail to Killington Peak, well worth it. But yeah, I'm tired. Haven't had a 0 day in a while, almost 200 miles, so debating whether I want to do that. I'm not sure. I have to check things, and that requires the use of my phone, and I don't want to do it right now and stumble and take time away from getting into town. So that is where I'm at. I am tired, but made progress. Been making progress, actually. Very happy with it. And I am very excited for town food. No idea what I'm going to get. And don't know exactly how this bus works. But yeah, that kind of brings you up to speed. It was a long day, and I'm feeling tired. And I'm debating what I want to do. But there's a lot of things that go into it. There's weather, future zeros, when I want to finish. It's getting that close now that like you can do the math, and it's just, the math never lies, but now it's getting more and more truth telling as you get closer. And then more just like logistics for the whites, which are now under 100 miles from here. I don't want to burn a good weather day tomorrow, which it looks like it will be, but at the same time there's not many places that are going to afford me this cheap of a 0 day. There's really not any, so that is why I'm leaning towards it. But I will make this decision later on this evening, or possibly the morning, but I'd prefer to make it by this evening. But I'm gonna get there, shower, claim my bunk, change my clothes, and just go get food, because I am very hungry. Beautiful day. The trail just turned nice, but it was rocky and rooty all day. So yeah, I probably have a mile left. I'm gonna listen to music. I've barely listened to any music, if any, in the last week. That's kind of shows you the mood I'm in. Podcast, determined to get miles, but haven't been in that like, yeah, let's listen to music mood, which is really rare. Probably the longest streak I've ever done in my life. So I'm gonna do that and get this last mile done, and just look forward to the now of a bunk, a shower, and a town meal, and then figure everything else out. It's not going to be, whether I zero or not, it's not going to be an early leaving of town. It could be a 2-3 o'clock if I do leave, or I could zero, which I've said already. All right, hiker brain, full function. That's it. One, two, that's me. Need some ice cream and chocolate milk. Calories. Attempt number 2. Oh, hello. More boring woods. Let me take this out. So yeah, I left Rutland, took the 12:15 bus out of town, which was right on time. I was actually up really early this morning, but I didn't want to fight it because I was up at 6, like on the dot, and I was like, all right, I need to ride this early morning wake ups because the whites are coming up. It's only gonna get darker as I keep going north and east, which I'm pretty much headed just directly east for a little bit. After I split with the long trail today, so I'm going very much east. And I rode the wake up just so I could get on a better schedule, but happy. Wasn't really, yesterday I was considering a 0, but this morning it just never really felt right. So I got everything I needed to get done, got a good meal, got a deli sandwich in the back, and I am gonna get at least 10 miles. There's a shelter coming up, and debating if I want to push on, but it is like well past 4:30 now, not yet 5, so the daylight factor already coming into play. But yeah, happy with leaving, happy with Rutland. Rutland's an interesting town. I remember snowboarding in Killington and went over to Rutland to get something, maybe groceries, but never really spent any time in downtown. Very interesting town, in both good and bad ways. But yeah, I'll leave it at that right now, just because I'll have time once I'm done to talk about every place I've went. But yeah, the Yellow Deli, that's what I wanted to talk about. Different conflicting opinions on it. I understand people call it a cult or a crazy religious group or whatever, but obviously they might have some ulterior motives, but they were very kind. I did not go do the dinner with them, but I did stay, and they have laundry, and the bunk room is very clean, and they're very welcoming, and they talk to you and ask about your hiking, and that's kind of really all I experienced. I only stayed for one night, so I can't give you more info than what I saw. But you know, I understand some people's objections and why they don't stay there, and that's personal. And they say, oh, they're bad people, they have ulterior motives, but so do a lot of business transactions. That's kind of how I looked at it. Is I needed a bunk, they were offering it. I needed a shower, I needed laundry, they offered all of it. They were very kind. And you know, people go to dealerships for cars and they partner with the banks for these ridiculous loans. And I mean, that's just one example, but people still waltz in car dealerships all the time, and there's motives there. People on that side want to make money and make as much money off you, especially if you have bad credit. So I don't know, maybe I'm just giving you my reason of why I didn't object to it at all. And I wasn't worried about getting sucked into a cult life. I just was welcomed and needed a bed, and that's what they provided. So yeah, again, once I'm done with the trail and I'm not walking and tripping, and I'll be able to go over all the hostels and places and go more in depth in it. But I figured I'd give you my first thoughts for the day. But yeah, pretty uneventful day. Left on the same bus with another hiker, but he goes much slower. However, he's very consistent, so a lot of times he catches up to me. But I'm gonna see if I want to stay at this shelter or push to the next one or go to a campsite in between. And I am tired because of the early wake up, so we shall see. But yeah, I do not like this. I like the weather, but I do not like this fighting for daylight, and it's just going to get worse and worse as the hike goes on. But I am under 500 miles, so I'm thinking I only got about 5 weeks left out here, which is kind of crazy. And I'm not going to talk about finishing because I know I've hit on like that a lot, but it's just crazy to think that 5 weeks, although a long time still, is all I have left, and then it's all gonna kind of seem like this crazy dream at the end. So yeah, in between, I think I said that. I guess I will hit on it. I'm in between trying to take in every day, trying not to trip, and also ready to finish and ready to start building the life that I have envisioned and work on the things that I have realized about myself, and yeah, just build a future. And that could mean many different things, but it's hard to build anything while you're hiking all day. So I'm going downhill now. I need water. There's water down here eventually, and that's it for now.